had like this moment where I was like, wow, I'm not going to the games. Like, this sucks. And then I like just started living my best life. I was like, this really does not suck. This is pretty awesome. And then once again, I'm seeing CrossFit at the CrossFit games not be CrossFit. It's like, they straight up, I think they posted something, like a little pin diagram of like what you have to be good at to like do well at the CrossFit games. And it's like, you have to be really good at like monostructural stuff. You have to be really good at running. You got to be good at high level like gymnastic skill. And this tiny little thing in the middle was CrossFit. And I'm like, okay, I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, if you go back and look at the events that happened in like 2013, 14, 15, 16, like there's so much cool shit. Like, there's so much CrossFit. And like CrossFit for me was like an event. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the one where they like put all these sandbags into a wheelbarrow and like over a stadium.
I loved it.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and wheelbarrows like tipping over, and you had to like write it and then put all your shit back in it. And I'll
like
never forget that.
And then you've got things where, you know, you've got like the monostructural events, but it doesn't dominate the space. It doesn't dominate the whole entire competition. And I got into CrossFit because I wanted to do CrossFit. I did not get into CrossFit to like become a shitty triathlete that can like squat heavy. And that's what this is. Like, these 5K, like, why is there a 5K in this event? Some fucking nobody at a turkey trot is going to run a faster 5K than our top athlete at CrossFit games. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's just, I understand, like, sure, you can have some events. We've got a 5K and then like you're bringing in this like CrossFit standard workout saying that you're doing CrossFit, but like, what is it, Helen? That's how fast you can run 400 meters. Like, with it 3 rounds with like no reps. It's like a kettlebell swing and like some just pull-ups, unless they like make it the heaviest kettlebell. Like, women are out there with a 200-pound kettlebell trying to do Russian kettlebell swings. It's about the run. So like, cool. We have 2 running events, and then again, the max lift is like, you're not even giving athletes time to like show off at all. You're giving them like such a small window. And so I don't know. No,
I'm really not
happy sitting on the sidelines. I'm actually content.
Well, you're not making fans in the turkey trot community, I can tell you that.
No, I just said that they're gonna fucking run past the games. They're gonna win. Literally, like, you're gonna have someone who just runs 5Ks for charity running faster than the top times in this. It's just one of those things. Like, I understand why we like test some stuff in the CrossFit games, but I don't understand why we have an event where like, in reality, like, it's kind of like these mediocre times compared to like some people doing some other stuff. It's like, well, if you're gonna like test all this other stuff and like some high level, if we're not gonna actually do CrossFit, like, I don't know, like, why aren't we doing like 18 holes of golf into a max clean? Like,
right, that could be a fun event.
No,
it'd be fun to watch.
Jesus Christ. I was like, it was kind of like the year at Rogue where we had to like shoot before we actually did the CrossFit. And it was like, okay, it's kind of cool, but like, this event I would have done great in if I didn't have to like shoot a gun, because I don't shoot guns. It's just, I don't know, there's like some things where I agree with, and some things I just really don't agree with. And I think the CrossFit games is no longer the CrossFit games. It is the triathletes who are kind of strong and can do high level gymnastics games. It's not CrossFit anymore. And it's fine if the sport is just going to change. I don't even see it evolving. I think it's just changing. It's just straight up changing. It's not like becoming more of CrossFit. It's just you're changing the sport completely from what it started as. And that's my issue.
I'd love to see more consistency. Like, where I would differ from you, I agree with your comments on Ellen in a running workout. That's a traditional old school CrossFit workout. What I would like to see is Helen, and then you have to do another old school workout that maybe Diane, which is deadlifts and handstand push-ups. And then there's a third one, and you guys all know it's coming. You know what I mean? It's not a shock. So you would see at every CrossFit Games the same workouts year over year, maybe 5 of them, whatever they may be, and then throw in another in randos. Because then you would have, to your point, more consistency year over year, more opportunity to have people train for a very specific thing. And CrossFit could every year watch people get better at their actual methodology that those of us that are just pure ass amateurs also do those same workouts in the gym. I've done Helen a dozen times. I'm dying to see what my time is compared against the pros. It's going to be mine's going to be double what any of you guys could do easily.
I would say is like the whole thing about CrossFit is like testing, kind of like throwing like the unknown at the athletes. So if you have things that will always be at the CrossFit Games, it takes away from that a little bit. I think if you want to have some like standardization, then you could do that and maybe in like the qualifier levels. But then again, you like I don't want to see every single quarterfinals. I don't want to be doing the same workout every single year. People love CrossFit because it does change. And like, that's what I'm saying is like, it's awesome to see like those changes. You're always like, ooh, what's going to be at this competition? But that's also why I like so many of the other competitions compared to the CrossFit Games, is because you are constantly getting tested on like CrossFit stuff, but you still have monostructural things. Like this last year at Wadapalooza, like we had a swim event, but it was paired with wall balls and drag rope double unders. We had a mile in a workout. In the middle of a workout, in the middle of a CrossFit workout. The CrossFit Games, I mean, like, you've got a run event after a run event after, oh, look at that, a old school CrossFit event with running. And it's like, I get it. Like, I know everyone is over there like, oh, she just doesn't like to run. It's like, I said, no, but calm down. I also like the event like that we just had at semifinals with the heavy snatch. Like, I loved that, but I do not agree that if you're going to test something, like, why is it always like we've gone so far away from just like testing something to where like we're testing something at the end of a run, or like testing something where you're doing something, but then you still have to run at the end. So we're still just testing a run. And I'd be saying the same thing as if like I thought that it was too biased towards rowing.
Sure.
I would say the same thing if it was too biased towards like heavy weight. It's just the thing is like it's taking over the sport. It's not CrossFit anymore. That's my only thing. That is my only complaint, is that we just don't see enough CrossFit at the fucking CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you necessarily, Dan. I guess my point is I want to see more relatability and more consistency. Like I think of the CrossFit Games as the pinnacle of our season of showcasing what should be happening in the affiliates. Like the beautiful part of our sport is I get to go out and do the exact same thing you do. It's just like golf. Like I can go play the same course Tiger Woods played, just I play it really shitty and he plays it really great, right? I watched semis this year and you guys did that workout where it was the reverse handstand push-ups and the legless rope climbs, and you had to do a pirouette, handstand walk, and do a row. And I'm like, the only part of that I can do is a row. There's no relatability as an everyday athlete. I just want to see more relatability, and to your point, more CrossFit. That's why I don't like the 5K turkey trot, because while that's very relatable, it's also boring as fuck. Like, it's just super boring to watch. And you're absolutely right. Some rando probably here on my block could go out and beat most of you guys.
It's so funny because I actually feel like it's super relatable. Like, I feel like you said, like, it's a run and anyone can do a run. There's Helen, and we do Helen at the gym every day. I actually like a mix of like some relatability and some like, whoa, these elite athletes are doing shit that I could never touch. And
Sure.
I like the spectacle of it. And I don't even want to ever know how to get upside down on my hands like that. Like, I like watching it because you guys can do it and I can't.
The important thing to make is you can have relatability, but the mindset right there is why the professional side is so stunted. Because you've got people at HQ saying the same thing. Is we're saying like, fuck the professional side of this. It doesn't fit well with the community. And so we get shafted because we're too focused on making the community happy. And I'm all about keeping the community. And like what Nikki says, I think everything is super relatable. I think you watch the games and there are several people who go out and try to do the workouts that they saw at the games that year. Mm-hmm. They try to recreate them as best they can at their gyms. Like everyone, started doing, they bought parallel bars because of what they saw at the games. They bought parallel bars after the first year that they had parallel handstand push-ups. People started doing standing handstand push-ups. They started doing the ring handstand push-ups. They started doing all these things because of what was happening at the game. And then you got to start relating to the athletes. You're like, wow, I got my first whatever, and it was really cool. The athletes went out and just did it. So there's always a relatable thing from the athlete side to the community. But again, if we are trying to center and program